So just here at the edge of these reeds is actually a coot nest. It's a really common bird in the UK, and I'm sure common in lots of countries throughout the world. The very humble coot. Well, they're quite interesting birds to watch. They've actually started building this nest, and I saw it about a week ago. I first found it, and I've been here like probably five times in the last week or so to watch and to try and photograph and to do some filming. I want to try and get a really nice shot of the coot actually carrying some nesting material in its beak. So I've seen this a couple of times, and I've just seen it now, but I couldn't do anything because I'd literally just set up to start vlogging. So I want a nice shot of the coot with a big branch or some foliage, bits of reeds, whatever it is, in its beak. It's not that easy for photography here because of these reeds that are sticking up, particularly over to the left hand side. It's difficult to get a clear view of the water. There's a patch of water here, completely open, some shorter reeds, and then just a really open patch of water, and I have seen a coot swimming across there, bringing back nesting material. So that would be the real target today, is to go for that location, just to hope at some point we get a coot that's going to swim across there where it's completely open. Slap myself on the thigh, nice and clear, and I can get a decent shot. Coot calling. I think this might be my coot actually. I call it my coot, but you know. I'm pretty sure it's the female I'm seeing, because this one bird is going onto the nest. Only once have I seen two birds together. So when I'm seeing a bird on the nest and building, I'm assuming it is the female. And she also does this weird thing as well, which I've watched. So I've seen it a couple of times where the bird stands up on the nest and starts literally like just smacking the ground with her foot, just slapping her foot on the ground repeatedly, which is really, really weird. So I'm not quite sure what that's all about. But the first time she did that, it was closely followed by a male, which came and jumped on and mated for about 3 seconds and then fell off. So maybe it's like a precursor, maybe it's a universal sign that females do for that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. But those are the kind of things that are really interesting in bird photography, just to see those little bits of behaviour that you only really see if you put in the time. Everything is manual exposure today, so I'm selecting the aperture, shutter speed and the ISO all myself to get the correct exposure, not leaving the camera to do anything. I've been watching these coots building this nest for nearly a week now, and it's just great watching the different things they bring in. It's such great behaviour. Sometimes they're bringing in like quite big twigs, almost like branches with leaves on, and other times it's just like really small pieces of foliage that they're finding under the water. And then when they get onto the nest, you can actually see them sort of decide exactly where it needs to be. They're being quite picky about where they're putting each piece. And what I've noticed is they seem to be building around the edges at the moment. So this nest, I'm sure, will go higher because it's not particularly high at the moment. But they seem to be just adding around the edge, which is probably the early stages of building, I guess. And then I'd imagine that they would build it up a little bit higher as well. I've got the 500mm lens stay on the tripod, simple setup. Got a tripod and I've got it at a height so I can actually sit on this this little stool. Very rarely do I end up sitting on a stool like this for photography, but it's just perfect for this situation. So I've got it at the right height. Make a bit of effort to try and get it level. Just jig around a bit, trying to get it really level because it's much more comfortable. If you're at a slight angle, whichever direction, after a while you start to feel it a bit, and you get one of these, you get this condition that wildlife photographers get sometimes, which is called numb-bum. It doesn't usually apply to the whole area, just usually one side. There's one dabbling over there, just behind the reeds, but I'm not sure if it's grabbing stuff or not. I think we've got a bit of action now. One just came in, just swam in with a twig, or like a branch really, just put it onto the nest, and then it's gone and swam back to where it came from, the same place. I can see it just kind of dabbling, its back end keeps going up in the air, it's splashing around, so hopefully it's going to come back in with some more. I did take a shot of that, but it's really difficult to get a clear shot. Over in this direction you can see that these bulrushes are actually quite high, so it's really difficult to get a clear view of a coot if it goes behind there. And then over in this direction I've got much lower vegetation and clear water as well, where I can get a much clearer view. There's a reed bunting just come, a male reed bunting come and landed on the tops. I guess it's not reed, I think it's like a bulrush, isn't it? And it's landed right on the top of this bulrush and he's picking at it. I'm just filming it now. Wow, that's beautiful. There's a coot swimming across in exactly the position I wanted it, but nothing in its beak. Just swimming. So the coot has just come back onto the nest. No nest building, just came, swam on, jumped up onto the nest and is now preening, so just managed to grab a couple of shots of that. So I've been here I think about 2.5 hours now. I've not even come close to getting the picture I'm after, not even close. Not one time has a coot swam anywhere in open water with nesting material. So I think it's going to be more difficult than I was expecting. I don't know why I thought it'd be this easy, it's kind of a bit stupid really. But I'm sure if I put in enough time, enough hours waiting, and you do need a bit of luck. If I put in enough time it's just not happening, then what I might do is try and change my position a bit. It's another day now and I'm back here trying to get this shot. What I've decided to do as well is to put the extender on. So I've put my 1.4 extender on, so that's making it a 700mm lens, which is pretty whopping. And the reason for that is because I'm photographing behaviour, I just thought, why not try and concentrate on that? It's not really about the background, about the light. That's nice if I get that, but it's really about, it's all about that specific bit of behaviour. And if I can zoom in a bit more and fill the frame with that, then that's what I'm going to do. One thing you'll need to do if you put the extender on is just to adjust your position of the lens slightly. If you put the extender on, it's going to make it a little bit heavier at the camera end. So I just need to push the lens forward a little bit on the tripod just to maintain the same balance. There's a lot of bulrushes in front and they do get in the way of where I'm shooting. However, I've managed to find a gap, and this is often the case that you just got to look for a little gap, and there's kind of like two sticking up which would be in the way, but there is a gap just between them. So I position myself so I can exactly just see right through that gap and get a clear view of the nest. Oh, this is fantastic. A coot's come back and actually sat on the nest. It will be the female. She brought in some vegetation, just put that on the nest. He's rearranging, but now she's actually sat down. This is the first time I've seen a coot sit down on the nest. So I'm sure there aren't any eggs there at the moment, but I guess she's getting ready for egg laying. Well, I did get something. It's not the exact image that I had in my mind that I really wanted, but I did get a picture of a coot with some nesting material, in this case on the nest. Hopefully I can spend a bit more time here over the coming weeks, and it'd be really nice as well if I can is to follow these coots when they have eggs and then eventually have some young chicks. That'd be really nice to photograph that. But if I can spend any more time, hopefully I can get this shot that I'm after. Thanks for watching the video. If you're a regular viewer, then tell me what you thought about this style of video. It's slightly different. I tried to mix in more B-roll, but not just B-roll for the sake of it, but B-roll that actually shows what I'm doing, tells a story and shows more of the wildlife as well, with wildlife footage. And if you're not subscribed, then why not click on the subscribe button to see more of these videos and tutorials. And I'll see you somewhere in spring sometime soon.